famous Cheeky Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast and boulder to boulder, all over the web and social media and iHeartRadio and everything else. And we have got a great guest joining us today here on our big broadcast. And go ahead and give us a little bit of an introduction on yourself, my friend.
My name is Bob Hearns. I've been a lifelong Chicago resident, which is probably one of the greatest music scenes in the world. I was very fortunate to grow up in a city where a teenager could hop on a bus and have access to the best rock and roll on the planet, jazz, blues, you name it. I lost my job back in the year 2007. I was an attorney for the insurance industry, and
Wow.
I finally got to fulfill my lifelong ambition, which was to devote my time to music. Since then, I've recorded 4 albums, and I've been streamed and downloaded pretty much all over the world.
So, talk to me about that reaction of having all the music being picked up as well as it has been.
To me, it's huge. And to be honest, and I'm sure you've heard this from other musicians, if you're relying on streaming income or downloading, it barely puts food on the table. I'm doing it just to get my stuff out there, and I'm absolutely thrilled when I see someone in China or India, even Africa, Algeria, all the continents. I've been literally streamed all over the world, and it's a huge thrill for me to realize people are out there listening to my material.
So, how do we find you online? Where is the best spot to get your music and everything?
I'm literally on all major streaming platforms. You name it: Apple, iTunes, Spotify, TikTok, I guess, is the new one. Hard copies are available at Amazon.com.
Fantastic. So, talk to me about the writing process for some of your stuff, my friend.
That's an interesting question. When I was younger, I wrote lyrics first, and I haven't written a lyric since the 1980s. The direction I'm in now is purely instrumental music for various reasons. I feel that once you have a lyric, that song is about that particular lyric. It's going to be about love, broken love, unrequited love, angst, whatever. When you create an instrumental piece, that instrumental piece is a gateway to the imagination. It can be the soundtrack for anything you want. You can put a title on it, maybe make a suggestion as to what it's about. But I think that the range of the song is much greater. And I've always been influenced by classical music and movie soundtracks. And where I'm at now, I think that plays a lot into it. My creative process,
Yes.
I really don't have anything solid in mind. What I do is I sit down and I play around with sounds. I have an Elise synthesizer I bought new in 1997. It's a real workhorse, and it's got a lot of different sounds on it. And I'll sit around and play with those sounds, find distorted sounds, found sounds. And I do the same thing with the guitar. I'll plug in a pedal, try to get some different kind of sounds, and then literally my ideas will flow from there. It'll start with a sound, then I'll add a rhythm track, bass track, and I build it all from the bottom, all by myself pretty much.
So, doing all this, talk to me about some of the different musicians you've worked with over the years and various things.
You're gonna laugh. I haven't played live in 30 years.
Wow.
And the reason was I have a lot of ideas. And I'm sure any musician in a band will tell you that it's a process of compromise, and it pretty much has to be like that. It's the nature of the beast. And I found myself compromising to the point where I wasn't happy with it. I was in a band in 1990 called the Tortfeasors. They were friends from law school, and I loved playing with them. But um, I went off and did my own thing, and 30 years have gone by. My other big claim to fame is that I was asked to audition for Ministry by Al Jorgensen twice.
Wow.
And I,
That's
I didn't,
fantastic. You could have been
I,
in ministry. That's
well, I
awesome.
didn't want to die young, so I blew off the two auditions.
We have got a tremendous guest with us today. Bob Hearns joins us here on our program. And with the worldwide coronavirus epidemic, we've been having a lot of Skype calls with various musicians and porn stars and authors and everybody trying to drum up some folks to go see their stuff, go buy their stuff. Where can people buy your material, my friend?
Well, have you ever heard of cdbaby.com?
Yes,
Yeah, I
CD
think my stuff
Baby.
it streams on there. Amazon.com. My 4 albums are on there. I've actually done two meta bands. The first one is called the Christ Stains, and the second meta band is called the Von Font Counters. Both of those are available in hard discs on Amazon. My first two solo albums, Krabby Road and music
That's a
from
great name.
imaginary movies. Those are also available on Amazon.
Music for imaginary movies. That is
Yep.
awesome. So,
There's
so
a story for each song too that goes along with the music.
that is awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in a broadcast, and I think it's great that you're on CD Baby because there's a lot of folks that they're always telling me, "Oh, I'm on Spotify, I'm on this, I'm on that." I'm like, "Whatever happened to CD Baby? Is nobody on
Well,
CD Baby anymore?"
they're actually the gateway. Once you send them your album, and you pay them a minimal fee, it's something like $35, $40.
Oh yeah, it's like nothing.
Yeah, they're the gateway to all the worldwide platforms, and it's the best value for a musician.
That's
They also
awesome.
do a DIY music conference in Austin every year. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, last year Questlove was the keynote speaker, and it's 3 days of seminars on anything and everything related to DIY. I'd highly recommend it.
We've got a great guest with us today, and Bob. So tell us about your inspiration, musical heroes, people like that.
Oh my God, do you have like 6 hours?
Hey, we got
Um,
as much time in the world as you need, my friend.
well,
Talk to me.
in a nutshell, my heart belongs to the Beatles, but my mind belongs to King Crimson. Um, I started listening to rock and roll when I was a little kid. One of the first things I remember hearing was Dwayne Eddy, and then the Ventures. So I kind of like formed a love for instrumental music when I was real young. Um, when I started going to high school, when I was about 16, my parents finally left me off my leash and allowed me to go to concerts by myself. And the first show I ever saw was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I saw Traffic, King Crimson, West Bruce and Lang, Genesis
Wow.
when they were in full theater mode.
Holy
Yes,
smokes.
I mean, you name it. I literally saw everybody. And to this day, Chicago remains a huge, huge music town. So I was always influenced by rock and roll. And like I mentioned earlier, I've always loved movie soundtracks. Movie composers like Bernard Herrmann, John Barry, who did all the really good James Bond stuff. I love listening to movie soundtracks and getting ideas from them.
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast, coast to coast, border to border. Bob Hearns with us today, and you're so. Do you do any social media? Do you have Twitter and Facebook and all these things?
I do Facebook. I have my own personal page, and then the meta band I mentioned earlier, the Christ Stains. We have a page for them as well. Um, my problem is that I work very slowly. I've only done about 4 albums in the last 10 years, but that kind of goes to my nature. I like to make sure I do everything right. I don't really like to rush things.
Yes.
Uh, but I'm working on a new album now called Go to Hell, a reference to the computer from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's awesome.
And it's in the vein of Kraftwerk. Everything is kind of synthetic and cold. So that's next in the hopper.
You are fascinating, my friend. You have got all sorts of strange references and things that I get. So I think this is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Being in the Chicago area, talk to me about the music scene there.
Like I said, any day of the week, and not only the past, but now, except for the virus, but I'm sure everything will go back to where it was. Um, any genre you can think of is going on any given day of the week. Famous people, local bands. It's just a vast tapestry of music here. Anything you want to hear, you'll find it here.
Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in a broadcast, coast to coast, Boda to Boda, all over the interwebs and iHeartRadio and everything else. Well, so tell me about where you like your production process and everything with that.
I literally do everything myself. I have a Korg 16-track digital recorder. I have a old analog Tascam 8-track. I record everything myself. In fact, some of my early stuff was done on the Tascam 8-track, and then I would mix it down to 2 tracks digital stereo, and then I could actually add on top of that. So I have a 22-track capacity. I play all the parts myself, usually keyboard and guitar. I literally play about 15 instruments, and I just bought a theremin, so I'm trying to get the hang of that now. I think the hardest part of my process was learning how to mix and master. That was just a battle. Learning how to eliminate the rumble of the bass and getting each track clear. But it's just like anything. You put some time into it, and eventually you figure it out, and it all comes to fruition. I do the sequencing of the tracks, and I even do the artwork for the albums. I do my own photography. And then finally, I started my own record label, Curio Cabinet Records, in order
Curio Cabinet Records. That's awesome.
Yeah, to have it distributed. Correct.
That's awesome. Well, I guess before we let you go, how do we find you on the web and get your stuff and buy your material and everything?
Yeah, search my name on Amazon.com. I show up on there. CD Baby, I'm on there. As well as the Christ Stains and the Von Font counters. And I'm on every major platform.